Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. These are the best expansions for board games coming to retail in October 2025. The year is already winding down here, but thankfully it's been a great year for board games and we got some good expansions this month. So I hope you're getting to play some great games out there. Come see my Green Team Wins live show at the Comedy Store Sunday, November 2nd in Hollywood, California. I'm really excited for the show. It's the most fun live show I've ever done, and I've been producing live shows for like 20 years, so I'm just really excited about the show, and I hope you get a chance to see it sometime. All right, let's get into the games. First up this month, 25th Century Games is releasing Ra Traders. This is an expansion to their game Ra, which is itself a new edition of an older game from the 90s called Ra. I love Ra. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I would for sure put it in my top 25 games of all time. It is just a really fun, interactive auction bidding game and set collection game. So you are bidding for tiles that are coming out. There's a push your luck element to the game. And then as you're getting tiles, they're going to get you points in different ways. So it's kind of what tiles do you want to go for? Well, this expansion plays 2 to 5 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is, on the edge of lightweight to medium weight. I would call it like high end of lightweight, Ra, I would. The main thing that this Ra Traders expansion does is add a new tile to the bag. And then this new tile will slot into a sort of board addition, and there's a little thing that adds onto the top of your board, and these new tiles will slot onto that little board addition. When those tiles come up, it's the trader tiles. When they come, and I feel like I need to say Trader, not like trader. There's not a hidden trader trying to sabotage stuff. No, you're trading. But when that tile comes up, when you decide to take that tile, you slot it onto that part of your board and it doesn't do anything for you. But when anybody else takes one of those trader tiles, you then get these chests from the middle based on how many trader tiles you have. So if I've got 3 tiles, well, that's not that great when I get those tiles, but boom, this person just decided to take a trader tile. Now I get 3 of those chests, and those will get me points as well. So, it's sort of gambling. It's getting that stuff early and gambling that other people are going to grab them at some point as well. So that's Ra Traders. Asmodee is releasing Carcassonne Siege and Defense expansion. This is an expansion for the 3rd edition of Carcassonne, and in fact Asmodee right now is releasing all of the old expansions for Carcassonne in a refreshed way. And I'm not going to go into all of those because a lot of those are, older expansions, but this expansion is a newer expansion, plays 2 to 6 players, and that's all the information. That it doesn't have a weight, but Carcassonne is kind of a upper lightweight game, right? I think Carcassonne is one of the games that got a lot of people into the modern hobby of board gaming. If you like tile laying, it's sort of the quintessential tile laying game. You'll be building out areas with tiles and creating villages and fields and, just regions out on the board. This expansion, it says the city of Carcassonne is besieged by catapults and players have to place their meeples in the city as defenders in order to defend it. They call this the 7th major expansion for Carcassonne, and there was a previous 7th expansion for Carcassonne, so I don't know if this is replacing that expansion or if it's just a totally new one for this new 3rd edition of Carcassonne. I'm not exactly sure, so if you know more, you can put it in the comments. Asmodee, in association with Go On Board, is releasing The Witcher Path of Destiny Legendary Monsters. This is an expansion for the new game, The Witcher Path of Destiny, that I talked about in my best games coming to retail video only a few days ago. The Witcher Path of Destiny is a game where you are playing cards into a tableau and then affecting a narrative story. There are essentially like 2 story cards, and if you play more of this symbol, then this part of the narrative happens. Or if you play more of this symbol, then this part of the narrative happens. So it's a little bit like choose your own adventure, but you're still playing competitively against other players. And they're releasing a number of expansions for that game here right away. The first one I'm going to talk about is The Witcher Path of Destiny Legendary Monsters. This plays 1 to 5 players, and it is a medium weight game that plays in 45 to 90 minutes. The main thing this does is adds various monsters to the game that you have to fight, that you have to defeat. So each of the monsters has a set of unique deadly attacks and requires a different tactic from you. So if you want to, add more monsters to the game. The other thing that it does is if even one player is eliminated, the game is immediately lost. And so while it's not a cooperative game, it adds a cooperative element to the game where you need to defeat these monsters. So it also adds 2 new Witchers to the game, and every Witcher has a little bit of their own asymmetric abilities and stuff. So if you want more characters to play as from the Witcher universe, this adds 2 more of them. Asmodee and Go On Board are also releasing The Witcher Path of Destiny Wild Hunt. This plays 1 to 5 players. It's a medium weight game and plays in 45 to 90 minutes. This adds a sort of semi-cooperative element to the game, a one versus others element to the game. So the one of the players will take on the role of Eredin himself, commanding a group of wraith-like wild hunt generals, and the others will lead Ciri and her companions against Eredin. So there's also a solo mode included in this, in which you can try to face the wild hunt alone and defeat it alone. So it basically just adds a whole new, play mode to the game, a whole new style of play for the game. So if you want a, one versus many where other people are having to cooperate to defeat the generals in the wild hunt, then you can do that here with this expansion. And then lastly, I have The Witcher Path of Destiny Triss, A Grain of Truth. This is an expansion that adds the character Triss and a mysterious story. So the original Witcher Path of Destiny comes with 3 stories, essentially. So this is going to add a Grain of Truth story to the game. So, a whole another sort of narrative to explore. It also adds a Triss miniature and standee that is a character that you can play as. It adds a lot of other stuff too. New story cards, mystery cards, markers, more. These elements integrate with the base game, enriching both narrative depth and strategic options. So if you like the idea of The Witcher before, this game, then there's a lot more content. They did a crowdfunding campaign, and a lot of this stuff was available if you backed the campaign, but if you didn't back the campaign, you can still get it with separate boxes here. Asmodee, in association with Fantasy Flight Games, is releasing Twilight Imperium 4th Edition Thunder's Edge expansion. This is an expansion for Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. It plays 3 to 8 players in 240 to 480 minutes, and it is a, heavyweight game, I think. Twilight Imperium is, a game, if you're watching this video, you kind of either already, you probably already have an opinion on Twilight Imperium. It is one of the most popular games of all time, but it is a game that plays in 6 to 8 hours. It's not just a game, it's a day. And so Twilight Imperium is some people's favorite game of all time, and other people want nothing to do with it because it's too long and too complex. It is a game also, Twilight Imperium, that plays better at higher player counts, probably. I think most people want to play it at 6 players, not at 3 players. It is a 4X game, you know, where you're exploring, exploiting, all of that stuff set in a space theme. Well, this expansion does a lot of things. It expands the collection by adding new factions to the game. So if you want to play, if you want new factions to explore, there's also new worlds in the game for you to explore. There's also a suite of galactic events that are going to change the game every time you play, having to deal with these various events. All of those it's more content for the game Twilight Imperium you already know, but also it adds a brand new Twilight's Fall mode to the game, a whole new way to play Twilight Imperium. You have to take up the mantle of Mad Mahact King, build your own custom faction from the scraps of interstellar civilization, and battle to become the supreme ruler of the galaxy. This mode comes with its own spread of unique components, making it almost an entirely new game. So if you've played a lot of Twilight Imperium before and you want something new to explore, this Thunder's Edge expansion gives you a lot of new stuff to explore for sure. Capstone Games is releasing Pagan Fate of the Roanoke Content Pack number 6, Until Proven Guilty. Pagan Fate of the Roanoke came out a few years ago. It is a 2-player only game, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. It is an asymmetric game where one player plays as witches and one player plays as the witch hunter, and both of those people have different win conditions, different ways to do things in the game. The witch is trying to complete a ritual in order to win the game, and the witch hunter is trying to discover her true identity amongst 9 villagers. And each turn, the players play their action pawns on active villagers to draw cards, play cards, gain influence, you know, just get special abilities in different ways. Well, this Until Proven Guilty pack, number 6, they've obviously released a lot of, you know, content for this game over the last few years. It contains 32 new cards that focus on the social fabric of the colony of Pagan Fate of Roanoke. So, you know, it's just, it's a card pack where you just add a lot of cards, and that adds a lot of stuff to explore and replayability to the game. CGE, Czech Games Edition, is releasing Lost Ruins of Arnak Twisted Paths. This plays 1 to 4 players in 30 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium plus weight game. This is an expansion for the very, very popular game Lost Ruins of Arnak. This is an expansion. Earlier this year, CGE released the Lost Ruins of Arnak treasure chest. It was sort of a big box that included the base game, all of the expansions. It was a storage solution, but they released Twisted Paths as an expansion in the adventure chest. Well, now this is available in retail on its own. You don't have to have the adventure chest now. You can get the Twisted Paths expansion on its own without having that other stuff. You know, you do need the base game, but you don't need the other expansions to Lost Ruins of Arnak. If this one like catches your attention more than other ones do, the main thing it adds is a double-sided board, and you can flip that over and you know, a new board to play, and those add 2 new temples to the game. That's the main thing that it does. At the owl side, the owl temple, it adds these secret passageways. You know, as you're going up the research track, you can sort of jump into a secret passageway, get a bonus tile for that, and then it unlocks a lantern tile that you can, a lantern token that you can move up the research track and get new lantern bonuses, different lantern bonuses, so you can jump into this you know, these secret passageways, which I just love secret passageways in general, man. I wish I lived, you know, in like a house that had secret passageways and stuff. That's always been a dream of mine. And so the lantern will bring you even stronger research rewards, and it will unlock those tokens that you get can unlock some new idol slots where you can slot an idol in to get benefits that way. On the other side of the board is the Spider Temple, and this side uses a new resource called Dark Tablets. And you can gain these Dark Tablets and place them on the research track and then place an artifact in that slot. You can take an artifact from the artifact row and place it on that slot, and now it becomes an artifact that anybody can activate as they get to that spot on the research track and they put down Dark Tablets themselves. So, just a cool way to kind of unlock some new artifacts and stuff. In addition to the 2 new maps, there's also new guardians, new sites, new assistants. There's other stuff too, but those maps are the main difference for the game. So if you wanted Twisted Paths but didn't want the entire adventure chest, now you can get it on its own. Grandpa Beck's Games is releasing an expansion to their game Skull King. Skull King plays 2 to 8 players in about 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight card game. Skull King is one of my favorite trick-taking games out there. It is, a sort of bidding how many tricks you think you're going to win, trying to win and lose tricks, but there's some special cards like pirates and mermaids and kraken and all of these other things that change the rules of the game a little bit. And, there's a trump suit, all that stuff. Well, this is a card pack. This is a small pack that you're going to rip open, and it's going to add some stuff to the game of Skull King. Some of the stuff that it adds sounds fun to me. I haven't played this, but it adds cards that can either be a 0 or a 14. So you can choose whether you want to win a trick or lose a trick with a card like that. It includes Davy Jones, and Davy Jones can eliminate a card from a trick, and so you can basically burn someone else's card to make sure that they don't win the game. There's a new pirate, Mary Thorne. There's the Skull King's First Mate, which is basically a more powerful card than anything other than the Skull King. And so, just some new cards that are gonna twist up the way that you're playing the game Skull King. If you like trick-taking games, I think Skull King's one of the best sort of trick-taking card games out there, so worth checking out. Level 99 is releasing Dead by Daylight, the board game Lightbringer expansion. This plays 3 to 5 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. The original Dead by Daylight game came out only a couple of years ago from Level 99, and it's a one versus many game. One person will take on the role as, the bad guy, the killer, and other people are taking on the role as survivors trying to survive. And those survivors are exploring the grounds, discovering items that they can use, and trying to repair generators. If they can repair 4 generators and open the exit to the game, they win. Whereas the killer is trying to hunt down the survivors, wound them, place them on sacrificial hooks to summon a sinister force. So, definitely a horror-themed board game, so you gotta want a horror theme in your games. The Lightbringer expansion introduces 3 additional killers and 4 additional survivors that you can play as. It has miniatures for those things. It's got new perks for these characters. So just, a bunch of different ways to play this one versus many game, different characters to play as. So if you, every survivor has its own unique perk, so that's going to change up the way you play the game as well. If you want a game for the Halloween season, then Dead by Daylight is definitely a good one for that. Slugfest Games is releasing Red Dragon Inn Allies Jin vs. Greppa expansion. Plays 2 to 4 players. It's, a lighter weight game and plays in, the Red Dragon Inn itself plays in 45 minutes. So the Red Dragon Inn, I've always loved for its theme. You are not adventurers going on an adventure. You are adventurers after the adventure is already complete, and now you're drinking in a pub to celebrate. And so you've already slayed the dragon, and now you're just hanging out and, and drinking. And you're trying to be like the person at the end of the game with the most, most money that doesn't pass out. Because your tolerance level and your alcohol level will be coming, and if they meet, you're out of the game. And there has been a lot of content for the Red Dragon Inn over the years, and most of that content is just characters that you can play as. And every character has its own asymmetric deck of cards, it has its own play style, and that's what this does. This adds 2 new characters, Jin and Greppa, to the game. So if you like exploring different characters to play as, they say these are 2 new bards. Jin is a master of ceremonies who encourages audience participation through songs, and Greppa is a hardcore bard who uses insults and headbanging tunes to bring enemies down a peg or 2. So yeah, just new characters to play as, new decks to explore in this new Red Dragon Inn expansion. All right, and the last one I have for you this month, Stonemaier Games is releasing Tokaido, Crossroads, and Matsuri. This plays 1 to 5 players in 45 minutes, and it is a lightweight game, but strategy game, lightweight, on the upper end of lightweight, not a party game. Stonemaier Games has been releasing new editions of various Tokaido IP stuff this year. They released a new version of Tokaido. They released a new version of Tokaido Duel. This is a new version of 2 former expansions to Tokaido. One, it's combining them into the same box. The Crossroads and Matsuri expansions are now right in the same box here. They are also, Tokaido, I should say, as just a base game, is a game where you're kind of moving along paths and set collection. You're stopping at points along a path to get things. This adds all the promos from these original expansions too into the same box, and just adds a level of complexity to the core game. They do things like Crossroads adds cherry trees in full bloom, luxurious bathhouses, good luck charms, calligraphy, legendary objects, and even clandestine gambling rooms are now part of the journey. And Matsuri is enliven the path with unique events that will happen, and a number of new travelers are also now available for the trip. So Tokaido is a great, welcoming strategy game, a game that I think has gotten a lot of people into games. And Stonemaier always does very high quality production, so I'm sure, all the art and all the component quality and everything like that is going to be very good. So that's it. That is 12 expansions that are coming to retail here in the month of October 2025. If you're at Essen, I hope you're having a great time and getting to see a lot of good stuff out there. And I can't wait to see what some of the hotness was from Essen, since I'm not there this year. All right, thanks so much, everybody. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.